Our distinguished President Cliff Guffey just walked in the house. I mean, President in the house, that's great. Since being elected as Executive Vice President, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you and being in the mix with you. Here's your National President, Cliff Guffey.
I don't want to delay the presentation too long. I'm just going to make a couple comments. We started negotiations with some ideas. We put them all together. While we were negotiating, we started running into Greg and myself and the attorneys and Mike Reed and every day on legislative matters. I want to tell you something, brothers and sisters. Whether this contract is approved or disapproved doesn't mean half as much as what you guys do the next 2 years in legislation. If we don't get involved, do certain things in legislation, everyone heard about Wisconsin, right? You don't think you're not right in the crosshairs of the Republican Party being one of the major unions who still have a middle-class income. You don't think that if the Republicans get elected, they're not targeting your collective bargaining rights. Now, one thing we've got going on right now, and I hope every one of you get involved in it, and that is if you have a Democratic representative, contact those Democratic representatives and push Obama, and pushing to make the appointments necessary on the Board of Governors and on the Postal Rate Commission. We have right now still Mr. Miller, the most anti-union person. He was the OPM director for Ronald Reagan. He's still on our Board of Governors. He could have been replaced a year ago. We have on the Board of Governors Chairman Goldway, great lady, great Democrat, but there's 5 people on the board, 3 of them are Republicans. 2 of them he could have replaced already, but he put one person right back on there, one Republican right back on there. And the other person can be replaced with a Democrat, and hasn't done it yet. We have several huge issues being held up by the Rate Commission that can be favorable to us. And why a year and a half, 2 years, almost 3 years into his administration, he has to replace these people, I don't know. We have got to put the pressure on him to let him know that we know that he hasn't done what he promised us to do. And we've got to get those things done. There's huge things, huge capabilities for our organization if those things happen. And if they don't happen, we need to hold somebody accountable, and we will. With that, I just want you to understand, one thing we try to do in this contract was regain our jurisdiction. Let me put it that way. Two foundations of unions is your jurisdiction and your seniority. Your jurisdiction is important, very important to the union, because without it, you don't have a union. And without it, you don't have opportunities to bid. And one thing I thought was wrong for the last X amount of years, you don't have your jurisdiction solid. Just think you've had your jurisdiction solid for a number of years. Think about all the people in small offices who've been accessed and taken out of the small offices, and their work is now being done by postmasters, postmasters, PMRs, and rural carrier reliefs. You know, there's 57,000 rural carrier reliefs out there, and they're averaging 30 hours a week. Well, if they're only supposed to replace the guy 1 day a week, where's the other hours coming from? They're coming from us. We didn't have our jurisdiction solid. The postmaster's taking our work. PMR's taking our work. Jurisdiction. Go right up the line into the stations and branches. Where's our general clerks gone? Where's our people who order supplies, supply clerks, things like this? Where's all that work gone? We're not doing it. Our supervisors are doing our work. EASs are doing our work. How about your opportunities to bid station jobs when we got so many thousands of limited duty carriers doing our work? Where's our jurisdiction? If you don't solidify our jurisdiction, another 20,000. How many of our jobs went over to the mailman like that? Thousands and thousands. And that's because we haven't built our union on a rock. We built it on some false jurisdictional claims. And that's one thing we did in this contract, I think, is we solidified our jurisdiction in a lot of areas. And that way we don't have the same problems 10 years from now. We can't be looked at. They can't ship our work off to someone else in a lot of situations. We've taken care of our jurisdictional claims, and I think that's very important. With that, I'll turn it over to Mike. Let's go. Thanks a lot.